guys, so a product which I'm sure a lot of you are terribly interested in, because it's a driver that we've seen Tiger Woods using, Rory McIlroy using, loads of Nike players switched into the TaylorMade M2 driver. Non-contracted players have been using the M2 driver, your club golfers have been using it. I think there's a few players on Mars that have been using this club. So we've got the 2017 M2 driver here, again similar to M1, nothing drastically different with the head cover, a little bit of a luminous yellow colouring there. Take it out, I think you can, again, similar to the new M1, you wouldn't maybe think there's a hell of a lot, different just from looking at the crown, but on the sole, we've got lots of different technologies, going on here, which TaylorMade say makes the M2 2017 version much better than the 2016 version. Still similar things going on. You can see we've got weight here, low and back. This is aimed at being a very forgiving driver, more forgiving, the M1 than the M1, and that's why so many players like it, because they feel like they can strike it anywhere on the face and still get good performance. I'm just going to touch briefly on some of the technology in here. We have been speaking with Brian Basil, who's TaylorMade's head of Metalwoods. He's going to go into a little bit more detail, but just touching on a couple of things, a couple of sort of key points on why TaylorMade say this driver is going to be better. They say that you're going to get more flex off this new sort of speed pocket there, which is going to give you extra ball speed off the face. And they're going to say that's going to help you control your spin a little bit better as well, because obviously this is a low and back driver, which can sometimes mean high launch, high spin. But the improved speed pocket and that's going to kill a lot of that additional spin, which means you're not going to lose any distance on that. Another thing here, which is quite interesting here, you can actually see sort of, I guess in the toe area there, it's actually they've actually sort of pushed the material in. They've actually saved a little bit of volume on the driver by actually pushing that in, and it's actually allowed them to make that head a little bit larger. So what you're actually going to get from that, you're just going to get loads of confidence address. It's a really nice big head. It's stretching to the USGA limits. It's still 460. It's still legal, but just by that kind of clever bit of technology pushing that in, that's allowed them to kind of add a little bit of head size there. So yeah, better speed pocket, bigger head shape, and they've also worked really hard to improve the acoustics of this driver with some really clever tech, something that TaylorMade called Geoacoustic. I think we better go over to Brian now. He's better placed to tell you all about some of the finer points of the technology in the new TaylorMade M2 driver.
On M2 in particular, our goal was to advance what we were providing to the golfers, which was a ton of distance and that kind of forgiveness and stability. And so we had to do some things uniquely different to unlock that higher level of forgiveness.
Yeah. So
when you set this M2 down, you're going to notice a couple of things right away. You're going to notice that the face is bigger and the footprint is larger.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit strange because it was 460 before, but it's 460 now, and so
just that footprint, you've just stretched out a bit, yeah.
We stretched it out, but then the face is larger. We did that with the way we shaped the sole in that recessed section, which is thick, thin titanium. It was very thin portion, but we freed up some volume to disperse to make it the way I just described and create even more stability, even more forgiveness, even more ball speed protection when you mishit it.
Absolutely. And just what's quite interesting with the M2 is you don't have the adjustability, sort of on the sole like you have with the M1, but you've actually introduced another version of the M2, which is like adjustability in a way, because go for a fitting, you can try that.
Right.
One. Tell us a little bit about the other M2 that's in the line.
Yeah, no, and we went around and asked a lot of people about our products and our drivers in particular, and said, hey, are we missing anything? And occasionally these fitters and golfers were saying that, hey, I'm looking for a little bit more spin, I like a little bit more spin, and I cannot stay off the right side of the golf course, or for a lefty, the other side. But ultimately, they slice it. So we wanted to use all of our technologies, all of these materials and shaping, and deliver a performance package that helps that player. And that's what we call the M2 D-type.
D-type, yeah.
The D is for draw, and essentially gives a couple hundred RPMs of spin and over 10 yards of draw bias.
Because it looks, you see the weight on the sole, it just looks like that weight's just been sort of like dragged down a little bit nearer towards the heel. Is that going to allow people just to kind of get that face, sort of like get the speed?
That's part of it, yeah. So the weight in the heel a little bit, the offset's changed on the driver a little bit. It's not a complete offset driver by any means. No, it actually looks quite good. And then the way we use the top of the crown and the cosmetics to actually help people hit the ball more left. That was another component to that driver.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you've got the options now with the M1. You've got all that adjustability there. You've got the M2, and then you've also, you've got the new D-type M2. So, and what I've actually found from my fitting, I mean, I play at 17. I'm not very good. I'm not like drivers, my massive weakness, and I don't think. What I found my fitting is you can't just sort of like pigeonhole a certain player and ability and say, well, you're going to be an M2 player, you're going to be an M1 player, because I actually got on best with the with the M1, which because I spin it up quite high, and the M1 was controlling my spin just better. And is that really something that you'd say to any ability to try all these drivers out and see which one's going to work best?
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? These are incredible products and they're fun to try. So take the time, go try them all, and I guarantee you it might not be the one that you think. To your point, you might end up loving the D-type when you thought you might want the M1, or vice versa. And it happens with tour players as well. We have guys that you would say, hey, they don't need forgiveness, but they take advantage of it and they liked it when they did with the M2. And so you're spot on with that comment. Yeah.
And just one more final thing, Brian. I'm sure you'll have noticed that the popularity of the TaylorMade M products out on tour, where you've got some former Nike players and non-contracted players switching in. Is that like the ultimate sort of satisfaction for you, where guys who are not being paid to play your product, they can play anything they want, and that's what they want to use?
Well, I have to say, I don't know if this will ever happen again in our lifetime, to be honest, that we have this many high-level players that can really choose whatever they want. And so it's incredibly satisfying to see them choose TaylorMade. There's no better satisfaction than that. I mean, the product that tells the story, the product delivers, and these guys are finding that out.
Cool. Well, have a look out when they become available to you. They're going to be available in the UK from, I think it's the 27th of January. So there'll be demo days up and down the country. Speak to your local pro, find a demo day, find a local fitter. Go through the fitting process. Because I found today, just with the shaft options, the adjustability in the M1, the two different types of M2. There's so much involved in the fitting process. Don't just go and pick one up off the shelf. Go see a proper fitter, get dialed in, and you will get the best TaylorMade driver for your game. Brian, thanks very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so just had a really good hit there with the TaylorMade M2 driver. This driver does actually come as a regular M2, but they've also got a D-type version, which is this one here. And actually, out of the two that I was hitting just then, this is the one that I got on with much better. Technology-wise, they've just sort of like dragged a little bit of the weight down into the heel area, which is going to help people kind of fight that sort of that curvature that we all don't like to see, that left to right, and try and get you moving a little bit more onto the left side of the golf course. And this M2 D-type was definitely doing that for me. I was really impressed with that. It's a good product. It's a massive head. It gives you loads of confidence over the ball, and it's just good fun to hit with. When you middle one, you do really feel the kind of ball speed coming off the using that speed pocket to get that ball speed. For me personally, the M2 in general does just seem to spin a little bit high for me. There's obviously other things that technique issues there. Don't get me wrong, I know that. But if you're a player like me that suffers from really high spin, it may not be the best driver for you. You may have a bit of extra joy with the M1, but definitely give the D-type a try if you're someone that just wants to get on the left side of the golf course a little bit more. You're fed up of losing it to the right. The technology definitely did work, with the TrackMan. We saw the shots with the D-type. I was on the fairway with this, which is brilliant. And in terms of like ball speed, I was getting up there to what I'd expect when I hit a good one, 140 mile an hour ball speed. So it was working for me, and I could definitely give this a try. But comparing M1 and M2, the M1 was actually a little bit better for me, just because I was keeping the spin at a more controllable level. Conditions is pretty windy today, as you can see. I've took my lanyards off because they were strangling me in the wind. But you don't really want to be playing with high spin in these conditions. So on the day for me here, M1 a little bit lower spin was working best for me. But you know, fair play to TaylorMade. They've took a really good product in the M2, and they've all, in a way, they've actually added a little bit of adjustability to it just by having this D-type version. So when you go into a fitting, you're not just got that one head, you've got another head here to try loads of different shafts out, get it working, you know, get it working for you. And but yeah, between the M2 and the D-type, you should, you know, you should be able to find one that works for you. It's, you know, Rory McIlroy's using it, Tiger Woods is using it, a lot of other Nike players are using it. You know, it is a fantastic club. It looks great at a dress, fills you with loads of confidence, and you do get a really pleasing sound and sensation off that face when you middle one. So, you know, it's a improvement on the previous M2 just by the fact that, you know, it comes in another model as well, so you've got that option there. So go and get fit, try some different ones out, you know, see which one's working best for you. Give the M1 a try as well. But, you know, fantastic product. I'm sure we'll be seeing this, you know, some of the current M2 players, you know, gravitating towards this club in the coming months, so stay tuned for that. Post some comments below as always. We really want to know what you think about the M2 driver. Has it, you know, been a revelation to your game and, you know, really kind of helped you off the tee? We want to hear. Post your comments below, and we'll see you again soon.